Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. We're coming to you live here in Ybor City at Chillum, where it all began. And we're going to have a great discussion coming up this Sunday and next Sunday as we head into the polls. It's Get Your Souls to the Polls weekend because we have a major election going on in the state of Florida where we get to determine what the future of policy looks like, what it looks like for us when it comes to our personal freedoms. And we have a very special guest jumping in the rotation today. But first, roll that beautiful theme music. That's right. Although we are professionals, we are always semi-professional here in the rotation. I'm your host, Christopher Cano, Executive Director of our Suncoast chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws.
Yeah.
Yes. And my co-host, who has been down with me from Jump Street. We've been doing this over a decade together here in the rotation. The owner and proprietor of Chillum Hemp and Mushroom Dispensary in Ybor City, Carlos Jose Angel Hermida.
Thank you. I like we've got the camera switching thing got pretty much down packed.
Yeah, indeed. You know, and for those of you who might be thinking, oh, well, where's that old guy that always joins them and talks smack on the show? That is our dear friend Gary Stein, who's our political director. Gary isn't with us this weekend. He's actually doing some important work up in Michigan. And I think it's great to see, the reach that we have. I know I do a lot of work in the D.C. area. I get a chance to engage in the political process and have a pulse to what's really going on there. And just big breaking news for anybody who hasn't been keeping up. They actually put an extension in the Senate this weekend for, the deadline of when the hemp industry would essentially go out of business, which was slated this November. And they gave them a 1-month extension to really get this together. Last, Thanksgiving, basically when everybody was gone, the federal government met, the Congress, and they snuck into the budget, into that big, beautiful piece of shit bill that everybody's having issues with across the nation, and essentially, put a poison pill in there to get rid of, intoxicating hemp products and really picking winners and losers in the industry. And the sad part is that here in the state of Florida, we have a thriving industry with tens of thousands of business owners who are doing everything right, who are following the law, paying their taxes, passing their Department of Health and the Department of Agriculture inspections. And yet, we still have federal policy that's a disconnect. We have a lot of forces at the state level from, big cannabis, big alcohol, private prisons that all want to see small business owners pretty much either pack up, shut up, or sell out. And that is why elections matter, because the people that set those policies and are going to have a big say on who gets to be a winner, who gets to be a loser, and what kind of freedoms you have, are essentially on the ballot right now. Early voting has already started in many places in Florida. Vote by mail ballots have been sent out. I'm actually looking forward to bubbling mine in very soon and getting that back in. And that's why we think it's so important to showcase champions and folks who have been down with us, in the House and pushing through on policy. And our special guest today is State Representative Michele Rayner, who is actually also running to be our new state senator in this area. For folks who don't know, and many do, me and our incumbent state senator, Daryl Roussan, who's a retiring, have had a lot of beef over the years over a policy disagreement. And I can say that he's come a long way and evolved on policy on certain things. And I think that's great that he's listening to consumers now. I mean, he was kind to Carlos and I when we went up the lobby and let us sit in the office, so that was always a good thing just to hear people out.
That whole bong law thing is just so awkward for me, though.
Indeed. But
very awkward.
We have the opportunity this November to elect new leadership and new blood and new ideas to go up there that are more centered towards small business owners, that are centered towards freedom and for the people. And so we have one of those champions with us in Representative Rayner today. And Rep. Rayner, I know you just got out of church, so it's a busy schedule to be on the campaign trail. How are you keeping up with everything right now?
Well, first off, y'all, it's so good to be here. I have a lot of love for y'all and the work that you do. And how am I keeping up? Well, listen, we have 9 days, so we are swimming hard to the wall. As y'all probably can tell, my voice is a little gone, and we're just gonna continue doing it. I mean, we're making our case to the people. I think those of folks who do know me, those who don't know me, y'all know I've been very people focused, and it's making the case to the people. What has been really disappointing is that in my particular race, we've seen corporations and dark money come into this as well. And I think that, I say this, and I'm very close to Angie Nixon, and we talk about this daily, several times a day. You know, I want to encourage the people to look and see who's funding who. Because there's a reason certain folks are funding certain people and they're not funding others. And so right now, it is despite all of that, we are literally making our case to the people. We're literally going to where the people are. We're talking to them, and we are letting them know, like, and the beautiful part is that I don't have to make such a hard case because I don't just show up when it's election time, right? I show up outside of election time. And so listen, it's a haze. I'm not gonna hold you. It's a haze, but we're doing what we need to do.
Well, you have been a voice of reason in a place of insanity, which is the
Thank
Florida
you.
State House of Representatives for the past 8 years. And we truly appreciate all the work that you've done around, just addressing the policy that sick
Yeah.
people in Florida need, and that is access to medical cannabis, safe and reliable access. And there's still so much work that
Hmm.
still needs to get done. And so, in the last year was really astounding to us. We saw the House pass unanimously a bill. And I mean, I never see when both parties agree on anything in Florida, but you all passed a bill that
Yeah.
would reduce medical marijuana card fees for our veterans. And I mean, that is a positive step
Yes.
forward. Which way I was saddened to see that the Senate couldn't get a similar bill over the hump. And that's really been the holdup in all the progress that we've seen, since we introduced medical cannabis in 2017 in the state of Florida. And that has been that the process itself is so mired
Yeah.
in corruption is no other way to really put it. I mean, there are great bills that could make sure people don't lose their jobs because they're medical marijuana patients. There are bills that, like that veterans bill, that should have been passed, within the first couple years. We've even seen that bill used as a poison pill for political purposes to pass, THC caps and all other unrelated things. And I mean, that's really the sad part is some of the great bills we even have pushed for several years don't even get a hearing. And I think that is part of the frustrating
Correct.
part of the Florida legislature is like there's so many important issues that we should be addressing, and
Yeah.
we don't. I mean, they're more worried about who can get what scholarship. How about just give kids scholarships? Everybody needs a fair shake, but they're worried about what people's
Correct.
skin color are on a scholarship, or they're worried about, they're worried about what books the kids can read. I'm like, let the kids read. I mean, it is sad
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we get caught up on all this craziness, and then there's sick people out here suffering, and those there are policies that aren't being addressed. I mean, I remember interning in the state house back in '09, and the thing that struck me, we were worrying about there was a breed ban bill on what kind of dog people can have in the state of Florida, and it's like we got more important things to
Well,
worry about right now than dogs, and I think that's where a lot of frustration is with voters, to the point to where we talk about how many Democrats there are and how many Republicans are registered, but half of this
mhm.
country isn't even registered to vote. So,
Correct.
where do you motivate a populace that is there right now, right? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Because you exude positive energy everywhere you go, Rep Rayner. I mean, I've seen you out in the streets and at parades and just everywhere you go, you always have this aura of happiness. And I just want to know, like, how do you do that? And especially in the line of work you're in, we're working these folks up in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, thank you. And I mean, to your point, like, you know, Tallahassee focuses on the wrong thing 99.9% of the time, right? So I think for me, where how I kind of motivate folks is I acknowledge where people are, right? I acknowledge that, hey, listen, you have a right to feel the way you feel. Like, this is messed up. This is foolishness. And I acknowledge that. I think that when you don't allow people to sit in like how they feel and you're just like, you just need to go vote, like that's crazy. Like, so acknowledging it. But then I use, I know that he's been canceled, but the great philosopher Christopher Maurice Brown said, you standing outside the club hating and you can't even get in. And so for me, I look at it like this. That's what voting is. That's what me organizing is, mobilizing, finding a political home and voting. You can't stand outside of the club talking about, I bet you that club in there is terrible. I bet you they ain't got the good drinks. I bet you they ain't got this and they ain't got that. Baby, you ain't even inside. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. So how do you become part of the process to change it? You organize, you mobilize, you find a political home, and I don't even mean a political party. It could be, if your issue is marijuana, there's Suncoast Normal. If your issue is civic and education, it is my organization, Justice Over Everything. If that is what you are want to do, however, you find that home and then you go vote. And so for me, it's A, acknowledging it, B, but also saying like you're wanting to change something that you're not even a part of, and then 3, giving people 4 action items to actually become a part of the change.
Yeah. And, for me, this journey into cannabis policy was always academic until the real world hit me. And my dad got struck with a terminal form of dementia. And cannabis was the only thing that could relieve the symptoms and the pain he was going through. And then I got arrested for getting it for him because this was 2014. There was we didn't get the bill, we didn't get the amendment passed. But people's health and life doesn't care about our politics. And I mean, and that's the biggest thing I see a lot of struggling with out here is like, man, we're just looking for help. We're looking for leadership to get us through some of these tough times, because life kicks everybody's ass now and again. And I mean,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, you just getting out of church right now, right? Folks are looking for that community. They're looking for some type of just support. And so you're right. That's where civic organizations come in at, nonprofits. Thank you for those nice words. I mean, we really do need everybody out here. If you care about cannabis policy, we've created this. I mean, Carlos and I, when it happened, when I got arrested, we were talking about it. Like, man, there's tons of kids at USF and good upstanding people in the community who just want to have some type of relief with this medicine. And it makes all the difference in the world for people who are really sick. And we live in a state where you don't always have health insurance, and you don't got the luxury of laying in bed and feeling tired. You got to go to work. And that's one of the things that I've struggled with the past several years, is that we don't have worker protection laws in the state of Florida for medical marijuana patients. And I just wanted to see what were your thoughts? I mean, like, people should, we just got it passed in Maryland. I advocated for it. We got it done with first responders. So, we're going to try and get other workers in the later session with other bills. But I mean, I always have been in the of legislative opinion, like, let's go big or let's go home. Like, everybody should have rights, not just pick and choose small groups at a time. And I just hope we can get worker protections over the finish line next year in the state of Florida. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's something that we can get a hearing on? Because it's so frustrating to not see it get addressed.
And you know what I think Chris said, like, that's a great question, because I want to remind me if I'm wrong. It was either this session or the session before. I'm old enough to remember that they actually wanted to criminalize folks that actually had medical marijuana or had marijuana in their system during, and I think it was medical marijuana. They wanted to criminalize people and they're during, like, and while it was in the workplace. And I don't know if it was either a bill or like a local bill or something to that effect. And I was like, well, first off, you want to criminalize folks that are, you feel that are, under the influence of marijuana. First off, there's no mechanism in your bill to figure out if it is legal marijuana or if it's illegal marijuana, right? And we can get into that discussion. That's a whole other discussion for another podcast, another day, right? So you don't know what this is for. You don't know when this person has taken it. You don't know if they've taken, if marijuana is in their system and they took it on their weekend in their private time. You don't know if they have a medical marijuana card and this is how they actually, to your point, get up and go to work to actually perform labor for y'all. And so for me, I think that there definitely needs to be protections. Here's the deal. How real can I be? Well, I'm just gonna go here. I'm just gonna go here.
Go.
I mean, here's the thing. Until white people are impacted by this, we're always gonna keep having this push and pull. with marijuana. And it's interesting that you say that there was a poison pill in that bill that man passed in DC. It's like y'all want to have this poison pill for the hemp industry and marijuana, but y'all are on cocaine more than anybody in the world. That actually does real harm to folks. I mean, if we're gonna like I guess like I'm at the point, and maybe it's because it's 9 days left. I'm at the point, mask off. Like, let's have the conversations. Let's be very real about it.
Did you see the TikTok video of the president of France on a plane with the president of Germany, and like I don't think they were expecting someone to bust in, and there was a bag on the table.
I didn't see that, but I believe it.
Oh, it was wild. Macron snatched that bag so quick and tucked it on. I was like, "Ooh, look at that little white bag right there." And the other one snatched whatever apparatus that was, you know.
But that's the thing. Y'all wanna criminalize marijuana, but y'all ain't criminalizing, and you're making it. You're single-handedly keeping the cocaine industry in operation. Like, be for real. Like, that's actually crazy. So for me, I just am very much of a believer of until folks who have power are so disproportionately affected, it will always be a push and a pull, right? And until they don't have access, until they have to, figure out how they're going to, get access to marijuana, specifically medical marijuana, it's always going to be a push and a pull for them.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because this has a lot of parallels in other policies. I mean, I recall, what was it, Representative Kamek, that had a issue with a pregnancy.
Yeah,
and
stay there.
And it needed to be terminated for her health, and yet she was one of the most vocal advocates of denying access to reproductive health. I mean, Amendment 3 and Amendment 4 both failed in 2024, and those were hard hits on major policy points. Ending prohibition.
Know why they failed, though. But you know why they failed. One,
because
they moved the goalposts of correct, and they moved the goalposts of some years ago. They moved the goalposts of where it needed to be. Oh, so. Hold on, someone was telling me my dress is in the thing, but I love church people, baby. They're gonna make sure I'm straight. But they moved the goalposts of where of the threshold of people needed in order to pass an amendment. That's number one. And then you saw the governor being unprecedented by using government money to campaign against constitutional amendments. That's actually insane. That's insane.
And the guy who was the brain behind all of it, who was his chief of staff, he made attorney general. So now we have an unelected
the worst lawyer in the state of Florida.
Oh my goodness. I mean, and it's just scary to think that the guy who is in charge of is basically protecting the state, enforcing the law, has literally spent our tax dollars, helped the governor move money around to the point to where he can defeat citizen-led initiatives and amendments. I mean, it's bad enough, like we said, that there's this paralysis of progress in Tallahassee, but the fact that when voters get together, try to pool their resources, go put in the sweat equity. I remember in 2015, hey, we lost in 14. My dad is sick. We can't afford to lose again. You don't have time. Working 16-hour days, collecting petitions in the heat outside of Comic-Con, going to the point of dehydration because there were sick people who really needed help, who really need this access to this life-saving medicine. And then all of a sudden you think about the fact that a governor can use your own money against you to defeat it at the ballot box with propaganda. That hurts. That hurts a lot.
No, it's awful. It's actually awful.
Yeah. So I mean, why keep going? You put in 8 years in one of the biggest shit shows on earth. Well, now you want to step into the Senate, which they consider. I've heard it's described as from Senator Brandis as 40 Somalian warlords all fighting for power.
Correct.
And so everybody has a little fiefdom, those 40 senators in the Senate. So help us out with this, Rep. Rayner. Like, why keep going? Why?
I ask myself that a lot. And one of the things I think of, and I say this, and I've said this publicly, and this is not to whatever, I think about people-focused candidates and people-focused leaders. And I tell people often, if Diane Hart had said to me, Michelle, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna run, y'all, I would have I would have been like, I'm going back to my law practice. But that
Mhm.
wasn't the case. And I'm concerned about the type of leadership that we will have in this district. I'm concerned about the lack of leadership we will have in this district. I'm concerned about having leadership that is actually focused on people and not self-aggrandizement. I'm
Gotcha.
the work that we and the progress we have made will be stopped at the behest of any corporate donor that will come and have a seat. And so for me, it's about the people. I mean, and the reason I say that is that we saw already in my particular race that there are attack mailers calling me a Republican. Now, that I'm a MAGA Trump Republican. And the fact of the matter is that we were able to connect the money back to my opponent. And the concern is that if you
Right.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
Look like Verizon over here sabotaging. Nah, it's okay. The signal's cut in and out for a sec.
This one's Spectrum, actually.
Spectral. Oh
Yeah.
well. No, I meant like she's on the cell phone too. So
Ah,
we're just going through some technical issues, y'all. But we're gonna get Rep Rayner Rick connected here. And there is we've been talking a little bit here right now about dark money in politics and money in politics in general affecting races. And so she's gonna reconnect here and we'll hop into it.
I hope so.
Yeah. Ironically, I find that funny that any campaign or any group outside independent expenditure attacking Representative Rayner as anything short of being to the left of center is laughable at best.
So they're calling her a Republican?
Democratic primaries are funny things because it's like you gotta balance yourself in a way to where like, hey, you're moderate enough to you can win the general, but you gotta have the liberal chops to have folks in the party. And it's a big tent party, so how you build your coalition is interesting. It really is just getting out there, knocking doors, and talking to more people than your opponents.
It just seems that like everything you hear about political campaigns is bullshit.
Mhm.
I believe the people that take the time to come on our show, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not bad mouthing the politicians that took the time to come on the show
Yeah.
and talk cannabis legalization. It's just like every time I see a political ad or like, for example, Jay Collins saying that he's anti data center when he's like what happened?
I was gonna say switch the camera on you.
Switch the camera on me.
They're just looking at me, looking at you talk.
Okay. Geez, now I gotta wait for it. Okay. So, but that's the thing though, is like Jay Collins, for example, he put out ads saying that he's anti-data center.
Yeah.
When in truth he voted to give data centers tax breaks last
Oh, that's ludicrous.
So I mean, you never really know with these people. And they're fucking come on and say Michele Rayner's a Trump Republican.
That's wild to me.
Does not seem correct.
The math does not math on that one. I mean, that seemed like a waste of money of an attack ad in my point of view. So, Rep Rayner, we hope we got you back here connected. So I know that the signal's been a little funny.
I mean, not gonna lie, I know we're only 23 minutes into the interview, but when we had signal, she was saying some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, no, she's dropping knowledge on us on as far as just being a supportive leader. I think is important, and getting out there in the community is important. I mean, if you're not, like we were saying, just coming on the show is a big step in the right direction for being able to talk policy and talk with our leaders. I mean, I hope we can get her in the shop here. You can give her a walkthrough and show all the great work
Can you
that you got going on.
Oh,
Indeed,
hey.
welcome back. How are we coming on that end?
listen, listen, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sound like the Decepticons
Hello?
are jacking the signal. That's all, but it's working.
She can understand you.
They don't want us to be great.
No, we were just commenting and laughing at the attack ads. I felt like, well, that was a waste of money to characterize you in such a light. But
still, there's people that fucking watch that shit and believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we were just commenting on.
I've had to comment
in falseness.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've had to comment about it. I've had to comment and let folks know, like, yo, that is not me. But I think for me is that how dare you seek to represent a majority minority district, a black district, a working family district, knowing what we got going on. Just, if you're sit on your record. I ain't gotta talk about it, but it is what it is. And if you have concerns on my record, please let's talk about it. But like our people are suffering, and we know that this particular district and districts like this district around the state of Florida, when America catches a cold, Black America catches the flu. So how dare we do that? And to me, it's like, I mean, for me, it was like, okay, cool. Like it was. You can say what you want to say about me. Like, I mean, whatever. Like, but like because I live in this district, I didn't have to move in this district to vote for myself. I didn't have to get to know people in this district. Like to me, like it is probably one of the saddest things that I have seen because it was unnecessary.
Mm.
It was unnecessary.
Well, that's like you said. There's 9 days left. Everybody's leaving it all on the field. I see you hustling right now, doing the interview here from the car. I know you got other events to go to next. So we're just thankful that you have these few minutes with us. And, we hope that we can really just
Yeah.
showcase for folks, the policy champion that you have been. And we hope that you can champion those things in the Senate for us.
Thank you.
Worker protections is vitally important. No one should be fired from their job or precluded from their job
100%.
just because they have a medical marijuana card. The other thing that goes hand in hand with that is workplace drug testing. We live in a world where
Yes.
total prohibition is no longer the policy. So, having a positive drug screen is not an indication of impairment. And we should really think
Correct.
about scientifically what makes more sense. You could if you want to do workplace drug testing, you could put a tablet in front of someone and make them take a 90-second cognitive test. And I guarantee you, like you were saying earlier, those folks who are out the night before doing certain things, if they can't think, or before work, they can't think clearly. It don't matter what substance it is. We want to protect ourselves. There's different ways to approach this rather than making someone pee in a cup, which is just so archaic these days.
A
when it comes to
1,000%.
workplace drug policy.
1,000%. And also it's not accurate. It's not. I mean, I just literally got a not guilty on a chemical DUI because this young woman had her prescribed medication in her system.
We are trying so hard to give you guys a show today. I heard the first part. That was
Yeah, well, no, she's right though. Like she won a case because of the inaccuracies of urinalysis testing, and
yeah.
and it's just crazy to see how we still use these antiquated policies. Another big issue around cannabis policies around parental rights. We see in other states in the Deep South, South Carolina in particular, how a positive test for a pregnant woman can lead to losing their kids. For having a medical marijuana card in Florida could be used against you in a custody hearing. There are some serious issues that if this is a state legal medicine, then there are civil rights that we all have that should not be infringed upon because you're a medical patient. Biggest one is our Second Amendment rights, which our former Commissioner of Agriculture, Nikki Fried, had initiated a case against, and that case recently was ruled in favor of cannabis consumers. And at the Supreme Court level, most recently, in which she helped write that brief in Himani versus the United States, our Second Amendment rights shouldn't be infringed upon because we're cannabis users. There shouldn't be undue suspicion. So, there's also the issues of searches, and because that's usually the first thing in a police interaction that gets people arrested or messed up is the smell of cannabis probable cause to search your car. And I mean, that is a mixed bag depending on which court. And so these are the things that we still have. Like, we legalized it in 2017. We've had some progress along the way in Tallahassee, but these are the key issues that we really have to see moving forward addressed by our state Senate, by our state representatives.
These things pop up. I don't know if you remember back when we were on WTMP.
Yeah,
Joe Redner was on the show all the time. That couple that came on, and they lost their kid because she failed drug tests, and she was a medical marijuana card holder.
Damn.
And I remember Joe Redner giving them like just standing up and taking a lot of cash out of his pocket and giving it to them. And I can't forget that. But there's also the case now with, I don't want to spoil the news later.
No, go ahead.
But for the firefighter who I should point the camera at me. That firefighter that lost his job, and Minardi's taking the case to the Florida Supreme Court.
Yeah. Rep Rayner, are you still there with us? I know you're frozen on the screen.
It's frozen on the screen.
Well, if you can hear us, we feel free to reconnect, and hopefully we get a better connection. But yeah, you're right. There are some key issues here in Florida that are still have been unaddressed for too long. And this election is vitally important of electing leaders that are actually going to get it done. Firefighters were a key part of the coalition alongside other unions up in Maryland, where I work to help us get over the top with that policy of workplace protections. And I shout out to our International Association of Firefighters. I hope the firefighters union here in Florida will do the same and help pressure these politicians in Tallahassee to get it done. People shouldn't be losing their jobs because they smoke weed. People shouldn't lose their kids because they smoke weed. You shouldn't be disarmed in your home because you smoke weed. Like, this is the most ludicrous policy stance this country can have.
And it's absolutely true that we've had more progress. The work we do deserve a pat on the back, okay? Because the work we've done since we started NORML, the work all activists have done has really brought marijuana into the mainstream. You hear these stories all the time about people are smoking less tobacco, doing less opiates, and
drinking less
alcohol because they smoke weed. And one thing that's like really cool is every time you still see yellow journalism all the time. It pops up all the time. CHS, cannabis makes you crazy. Blah,
Forbes,
blah, blah.
New York Times, you still gonna see it.
And even influencers. There's influencers that get in on it now, where don't make weed your personality, shit like that. I don't want to fucking give them cadence.
Yeah,
but in the comment sections of all of the things that I just mentioned, it's filled with people like, oh, you're paid off the big alcohol, you're paid off by big tobacco. Like, this is all bullshit. But hey, looks like Michelle's back on.
So yeah, we can talk more about that influence that these big corporations have in Florida. I mean, we got the private prison industry with Geo Group. We have the Sheriff's Association, which has always been interesting to see where they're at on these issues. And then, of course, you have big cannabis now. You have multi-state operators who don't like small businesses like yours.
Got lobbying money now.
Yeah, and they're able to hire the same lobbyists that the private prisons use, which is just ironic to see these these big lobbyists that it irritates me to no end to see how money and politics shapes our policy and twisted against every people.
Oh yeah,
no, I mean 1,000%. Perfect. Okay, we finally did it. We did it, Joe. No, I mean, I think it right. I mean, whether it's in actual electoral politics or whether it's in the legislative process, right? It is, there's a reason that people want money out of politics. Ultimately, every policy should be balanced. The balance test should be, how is this going to benefit the people we serve and the people in the state that, and you see it over and over where organizations or companies they fund people that can be bought off. And so that's why people like myself or Representative Nixon or Representative Gant in Miami or Senator LaVon Bracey Davis, folks like them, people like we make them nervous because there's not enough money you can get for my vote. Like, okay, thanks. $1,000, okay. Like, there's not enough, $10,000, okay. Like, there's just not enough, because when it comes to the people that I represent and the fact that they may or may not be harmed by certain actions, that's the balancing test for me. The balancing test is not how much you're going to give to my campaign. The balancing test is, are the people that I serve as Miss Jackson on Union Street, is she going to be harmed? Or when we think about data centers, that's just funny. My opponent, that is Miss Jackson on the tree. Are they going to try to do eminent domain and kick her out her house? You know what I mean? Like, I think that we gotta we just gotta do better. Like, we take all this time. So we do all this campaigning, we fight hard, and then to do what? To sell folks out? Like, there's got to be a better answer.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta see where politicians get their money from. That's a telltale right there.
Yeah. Well, there are some key
Right.
issues. We talked about employment protections, parental rights, our Second Amendment rights. Home grow is a big issue as well. It's a consumer issue. Whether or not you have the right as a medical patient access to the whole plant and grow it yourself. I know we want to have regulated, industry, regulated retail. That makes sense. But for some people, spending the money it takes for to go into a dispensary to pay the markup, if we end up going adult use, there's going to be taxes, and that's a concern. People can grow their own medicine safer and organically themselves than in many ways. And I just think that has been a key issue in the state of Florida, that a lot of patients for so long. I mean, you talked about Joe Redner earlier on the show, Carlos. He sued all the way up to the Supreme Court around that issue, whether or not the ballot amendment says, in the language we pass as voters, say you have access to the whole plant. So, Representative Rayner, what is your view on the right of Florida patients to be able to grow at home?
I think if it's for personal use, why not? I mean, and if people are trying to do a whole, dispensary or whatever, what situation. I mean, come on, let's have some regulation. But like, if it's just you and you have one or two plants and it's at your house.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are asking.
I know.
Yeah, that's exactly it's in the folks are commenting and on the show that's what they want. They want access to a few plants for their own medicine. They're not looking to sell it. They're not looking to make money on it. Retail sales.
Correct. They're not selling it. They're not doing all of that. This is for them. Like, yeah, I mean, I think that obviously, if they're trying to sell it and monetize it and do all of those things, okay, that's a totally different conversation. And so, and if you want to, and we want to ensure that, people who are having it at their house are totally growing it for their own thing, then we like to regulate everything else. There should be a mechanism to figure that out. So I think that for me, like, once again, you cannot, it's the criminalization of it. You know what I mean?
Well, we know why it's criminalized. You touched on a little bit earlier in the show is that racism still has so much to do with where it's criminalized, who it's criminalized for. I mean, we even saw that issue with advocating for civil citations at the local level, at the city and county levels, and really race does play a big part of how policing various communities occurs and how people get treated. I mean, so and that's the biggest thing. And I continue to do a lot of academic research on it, is even still with legalization in 25 of 50 states, with 41 of 50 states with medical, is that Latino and African-American drivers are still pulled over, searched, and have their cars tossed in disproportionate numbers, even in legal states. And that is a disturbing fact of our policing.
Crazy that's still going on,
Yeah. Jay-Z said, risk. That's what Jay-Z said, right? And I'm just like, it don't look like you get much on it here in the South. Like, yeah, we saw it in New York, but we need that advocacy all over the country. We and that's where chapters like that come in at. And that's what we continue to do at the local level. I mean, if there wasn't a chapter here locally, who would have gone to the city council to advocate for it? Who would have gone to the county commissions to advocate for these things? And I think that there's a big role to play, like you said, in getting involved in civic society, getting off the couch and getting from behind the screen, because those screens are a trap in so many ways. You get stuck on the couch or wherever and just keep doom scrolling, and it isn't always the best for our health. We live in a society where you were just talking about civility too earlier. There's so much trash thrown around online, and people just talk shit to each other in the comments. And it's not good for folks' mental health sometimes. I always tell folks, don't read the comments, just look at the engagement. Right?
Yeah.
No, 100%. No, I mean, and I think it's really, like, I'm a believer that a better world is possible, and we have to fight for it every day. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I ran for office initially. That's why I'm running for state senate, and that's why I'm making the case to the people: a better world is possible, a world that works for everybody, not just for the ones that you think it should work for.
Well, tell folks how they can get involved in your campaign. Where can they go?
Can go to MichelleFlorida.com. I'm also on to Michelle. And if you want to, we thinking that's happening. We have canvassing that's happening. We have folks that are volunteering at early vote So however you feel like you want to get involved and say if you're like, listen, I have any time, we are still taking donations as well. We are a campaign that's built off of small dollar donations, and we have been being able to communicate and really out communicate, I think, our opponent in certain ways. And so we are wanting to make sure that that case is made. And I want to encourage folks, not just in my race, but there's other consequential races that are happening around the state where it is a primary. And so people are like, oh, well, it's just Democrats, so it doesn't matter. As long as I get a Democrat, it actually does matter. It actually does matter the type of person you're getting in. It actually does matter where they're getting their money from. It actually does matter where how they are, how they funding. And so my yeah, my ask of folks
I think we're losing it.
Indeed. Well, Rep Rayner, we really do appreciate you joining us today, despite all the technical difficulties. And I know you got your busy schedule, so thank you so much for being a part of the show today. And thanks a bunch for joining us. You saw it here. Representative Rayner's been an ally in the House, and she's running for the state Senate seat. Hopefully, we can have her here in the shop sometime. She can come tour and see all the great work that you're doing, Carlos, as a small business owner contributing.
I'd love to have her.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. That I think a lot of these politicians, it's been eye opening to see the ones that come in studio, especially being their first time in a shop, and just hear it. Wow, this is my first time. I didn't know places like this. You wouldn't typically catch me patronizing the place like this, and then they see like everything's above board. Everything is safe, inspected. You got certificates of authenticity. You got a great staff here who are very professional that you trained.
Yeah, everything's clean.
Yeah,
nothing's threatening. Maybe there's a few flyers on the windows that are weird, but
well, this is Ybor City. Weird is kind of the culture. Sometimes.
But there's a lot of good information on the walls here.
Well, no, I'm looking. Last night was the rubber ball.
Yeah.
I just like at the castle. So if you're a local from Tampa, you know about the castle.
FedCon every year holds their after party here at the castle.
I went years ago when I was a
important.
young man in my 20s to the erotic exotic ball. And
did you?
Yeah, that was pretty wild. It's just one of those things you hear about in Tampa, and once you get to be an adult, you're like, all right, yeah, let's see you hear it on 98.7 all the time.
That's interesting.
Oh man, look, it is. It's been really good about being home this summer is just getting to do the show with you like old times.
Yeah, it's been good having you in studio.
Yeah, man,
gotten really good at these camera effects. It's hard to get. When we have a conversation, it's hard to get the conversation on the camera. But what's important is the audio.
Well, just getting back to our roots, man. We started out just as an audio only podcast, just talking shit.
Yeah. The only way we went live is like if one of us propped up our phone and went live on Facebook.
Oh, that's indeed. And then it evolved from doing just talking shit.
Now the entire show. I mean, the show is basically like a live stream every Sunday.
Yeah.
That we just take the audio, just use it as a podcast.
Well, you made me reminisce to when we used to broadcast on WTMP, which was a historically black radio station here in Tampa. Is no longer around, and it's just a little piece of history. Like one of those moments where, like you had to be there.
Before that, we had this like really just like soundboard that I just did not understand at all, and it's just posting audio right on our website.
Yeah. Well, and the camera angles too, because going back and forth always a challenge. But we continue to just have these great conversations.
I get stoned, and there's a lot I have to manage here, and then all of a sudden, sometimes, Kano, you make me you force me to talk.
I mean, that's how we started out, just talking shit, just having a good time.
And I'm like, mostly, dude, I'm trying to share on YouTube right now, and I have to make some. And last week, you really got me. I asked a question for like 25 minutes straight.
Man, it's all good. If you had told me 10 years ago, hey, one day this show, which is just you two talking shit about weed, is going to have members of Congress, people running for governor and senator, on really the show, huh? I'd tell you, you're a lie. You're a lie. Come on, we're not going to be there in that world. That's not us. And here we are. we had a great show today with Representative Rayner, despite the technical issues. She's running for state senate here in the Tampa Bay area. Next week we have a very special show in that we have Angie Nixon, who is a state representative from Jacksonville, is running to be our United States Senator.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about her.
Yeah,
because she causes some shit.
Well, if for those who don't know about Representative Nixon, she spoke out against the congressional gerrymandering in the state of Florida, has been arrested for protesting against the corruption that we see from the DeSantis administration.
Yeah, she wouldn't leave his office or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, and takes no prisoners when it comes to calling out corruption and in the money and politics that we were just talking about on the show today, that we've covered a lot over the past several weeks, because we've had a lot of candidates come in and out of the rotation over the past several months. Some of them are very competitive and they've raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
Some of them are in leadership. Others are first-time candidates who are just pissed off about the way things are, and they're just concerned citizens who want to see us do better politically as a nation, as a state, as a community. And I think that's great. And so we try to give that platform to everybody. Political season is going to wrap up, for a little bit, kind of take a lull after the primaries. And then you're going to see things ramp up going into October and November in these midterm elections. But all in all, we want to keep bringing great guests. So if you know someone who's in the cannabis space, either as a small business owner, an influencer, a celebrity, tell them to jump into rotation with us. We got tons of candidates that come in and out during political season, but we've also had some great guests too. I mean, we've had Tommy Chong on the show.
Oh, that was so fun. I still go back and watch that episode.
Man, yeah, it's one of my favorite.
That's crazy. I'm talking to I asked Tommy Chong a question that's so crazy.
Yes. I was sitting there wearing an Up and Smoke University shirt
while
really I talked to Tommy Chong. I wish my dad was here to see that.
Really cool.
I'd be like, Dad, come get on the mic, ask Tommy a question. So
yeah. No, it's been a fun show.
Yeah. We've had Carl Sagan's wife, major scientist Andrian, on the show.
Yeah.
We've had folks. We had Clifton, who's the one of the First Nations dispensary owners in the state of Canada, on the show back in February.
Had Dan Harrer.
Yeah, Jack Harrer's son on the show.
Yeah,
talk about his pops.
Talked about what it was like smoking weed with his dad and shit.
We've had some great scientists on the show. Dr. Ethan Nadelman. We've had Dr. Barliv Schleve.
Peter Grinspoon.
Dr. Peter Grinspoon.
We had honestly, Dr. Rosado is the man.
Yeah. We've had some amazing docs on the show too, talking about a lot of key issues in regards to cannabis. Look, in the state of Florida, we still have major policy changes that have to be made. So if you're not registered to vote, but you're a cannabis consumer, you're doing it backwards. I know people always say, why should I vote? Look, if you, as Rep. Brandon said earlier today, if you're not, having to say so, if you're not in the club, how can you, pick what the music is?
Right.
You're just outside mad.
Right.
That they're not playing what you want.
Right.
So get in there.
Just get in there and start dancing.
Yeah. Get in there. Slip the DJ $5.
Get a champagne bottle, slip the DJ some money.
Right.
And have a good night. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's really what we're looking at with this August 18th primary. It's not enough that, you vote in a November election, but if you're part of the political candidates that we vote for in these general elections are decided by the two major parties in this country. And I know that is irritating to folks who don't like either party. Half this country doesn't like either party.
I don't understand why more people don't get involved in the primaries.
Well, you got to register.
A lot of people don't like. You have the ability to help choose who we're going to choose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that we can complain about the system all we want, but the truth is like if you're informed and you get involved. Okay, yeah, the camera. Thanks, kiddo.
I mean, I know everybody.
I always forget which one to press, and then I press yours, and I have to wait a little bit. No, but if people, okay, so I'll start over.
You don't have to start over. Keep rolling with it.
the I really don't understand why more people just don't get involved into the primaries. I mean, it's such an important part of our system, and you really do have the ability to choose who we choose in the end to become whatever elected official. And so, I mean, get involved in the primaries and really research your candidates and really get out there. And all I have to say is, if you're Republican, vote Matt the Welder for agriculture commissioner.
Well, I have got confirmation from his team. Matt's going to come on the show at the end of
What?
September.
Wait, whoa,
So
hold on. He's coming on at the end of September.
yes, so
That's fucking crazy.
so all things aside,
So even what if he doesn't win the primaries? Is he
he's still a
gonna- he's
major
still gonna come on?
influencer. Yeah, he's still a major.
Uh-huh.
Look, regardless of being a candidate for commissioner of agriculture or not, I first came upon Matt the Welder because he was exposing environmental corruption in Hillsborough County. That
Wow.
there are major corporations out there that are buying politicians, and these politicians are looking the other way to environmental pollution and major damage that could poison us, poison our water, poison our soil, poison the food that we eat. And because these companies have enough money to slap their name on big buildings and stadiums and everything else, they can buy politicians too. And that's why I was like, hey, this guy is onto something. And then when I saw he's going to run against Wilton Simpson for commissioner of agriculture, I was like, well, that's a win-win. I would definitely like to see that guy get elected.
He has a chance, dude. I'm telling you. And I'm doing this from a very specific angle here, because I'm not looking at any particular polls or anything like that. The fact that they do things to him to try to stop him from being able to run,
Yeah.
and smear his name. They've done things where they've sent out mass text messages with him in a porno, and I've heard these crazy
AI is slop.
I've heard these crazy conspiracy type things online about how the Republican Party of Florida is just scared shitless of Matt the Welder. So let's see if he better make that primary.
Well, that is the interesting thing about the 21st century with access to social media. Like, you can have a whole bunch of money, but if you have an organic following of people who are naturally tuned into you, it makes all the difference in the world. Like, you talk about Matt the Welder on the Republican side, we have Angie Nixon on the Democratic side that scares a lot of people in the Democratic establishment.
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
And so
what's the name of the guy that she's running against? He seems like a vampire to me.
Colonel Vindeman, he testified against Trump.
He's a colonel?
Yeah, he's a retired
dude, he's totally a vampire.
No, man, it's just he's someone who has
Colonel Vindeman.
He's connected. He's spent a career in the military. You don't think he's got as an officer? He's got
respect.
He's got money and connections, right? And I think that money and connections versus an organic following of voters, we're going to see how that gets decided this election. Is if money and politics really have sealed the system, or is there still possible for grassroots candidates to win office against all odds? Because that is what we see with Matt the Welder running for commissioner of agriculture in the Republican primary. That's what we're seeing in the U.S. Senate primary with Angie Nixon, is that folks that are speaking to the issues are getting a lot of traction, versus folks who have a lot of money that don't talk to anyone. You get a mailer, you might get a commercial, but only time you get to hear from Wilton Simpson is when he sends one of your goons into the shop.
What's his Byron Donalds or whatever?
And then
won't even debate the other Republican candidates.
There you go. So on the Republican side, you got Byron Donalds running for governor, and he's a congressman who's well connected, and he has a lot of money. He has a lot of connections. So why is he going to debate the other ones who may not have much money, as much connections? I mean, and that's a major issue. But I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier with these primaries, Carlos, is that we should hear from folks. I think that every single major office should have one televised election on PBS, right? On public television or public radio. There should be a required debate.
Through it, live stream it.
Yeah, live stream it. Show it on the online. I think that's how our system should be, is participation. We should get to hear whether or not someone's full of shit.
Yeah.
because that is the funniest thing that some of these people come on the
Imagine
show.
if a voter was informed completely.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What kind of world could we have? What kind of government will we have? You know? So, but hey, that's just wishful thinking. It's going to require the people to get off the couch and go vote. It's going to require people to, you know, because you can't smoke in a polling place. So you got to put your blunt down literally to go in and vote, just so we're clear, ladies and gentlemen.
But I will tell you this, you can smoke on the way, and you can probably even smoke in the parking lot. I don't know why I zoomed in like that. Damn it. You can smoke on the way, and you can smoke in the parking lot. Just don't get it out of your car.
You know what would be cool
Yeah.
is if you could like get like a free dab for having your I voted sticker on election day.
That would be cool if there's like a dab rig and an email
Yes.
set up inside
the polling place, right?
Yeah.
That would just have a table there, like, hey, you deserve this. You just did the hardest thing possible in America, choosing your leaders.
You know, let me tell you a quick story, Kano. The first time I ever went to it and bought a legal marijuana, and got my card and went to like an actual dispensary, Oakland Patient Company, right? I walked in there and it was just the most basic dispensary I have. Very like 3 types of flour or whatever, and some maybe a brownie. But it was amazing, and I bought weed legally for the first time. And I shook the guy's hand and I was like, God bless America. And I was like, I don't know why I said that, but God bless America. It made me feel proud to be part of this country, to buy legal weed.
I remember my first time. It was in Colorado, and it was right after our first episode on WTMP, the first episode we ever did in the radio.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I remember hopping on a plane and going to Colorado that next day, and when I got there, being able to purchase legal cannabis, and I went outside. I was like, I love this country.
Well, going back to our previous conversation about dab rigs in the
polling place.
Yes. But not being able to smoke at the polling place, Bobby did point something out in the comments that you can vote by mail from your couch.
Bobby, has hacked the system. If you want to vote and smoke a blunt or do a dab at the same time, you can get a vote by mail ballot.
Vote by mail.
That is it. You know, interesting thing enough, they're trying to stop vote by mail ballots.
That's, maybe we should look into that for marijuana bigotry, because they don't want you to smoke and vote by mail. That's why they want to stop that.
See, there's a reason behind all these dumbass policies.
We have to get to the bottom of this. Bobby, if you can help us, we'll need your help.
Man, just seeing where things are headed is been interesting. There's a lot in the news that I think folks should be aware of, especially with latest developments in public policy. Everything's changing, right? Like we're getting to the end of this term of Congress. So whether or not hemp actually stays legal has been kicked down the road till December.
Yeah.
So I mean that I know
got a little bit more time.
Yeah, it's a month. That's wild. And we'll see how these elections shake out, because I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it looks like it's going to be for the next Congress to decide the future of the hemp industry.
Yeah.
I knowing how the system works, I don't think they're going to have it decided by December.
You don't think so?
I don't. I maybe get a continuing resolution.
Maybe postpone it longer.
They have been struggling to get this farm bill passed for the longest. They're still going back and forth.
Yeah, they haven't passed the farm bills.
Yeah, Dr. Oz is saying, like, hey, on one side he doesn't want hemp, but on the other side he wants this Medicaid pilot program to have access to the hemp products. So it's weird that you got these officials in the Trump administration who are like still prohibitionists, but at the same time they want to make money off of weed.
Right.
So I mean that is the new thing.
Right.
Like look, we talked about it last week on the show. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner, it's like, could have legalized weed. You're Speaker of the House, didn't, and now you're a lobbyist for weed companies. Help me with that.
That's just who these people are. I mean, they will make money off of shit that will cause harm. That's just the way it's. I mean, not that cannabis causes harm, but that's the mentality that they have. I don't even want to think that this guy thinks marijuana is useful. He just thinks marijuana is going to help make him money. He sees people making money off of it, so like he wants some.
Well, I know that there are some lobbyists out there,
greedy as fuck,
it's like what Dave Chappelle say. He takes money from both Coke and Pepsi.
Right.
Whichever one paid the most recently tastes better. And that's like that with lobbyists. There are really hot shot lobbyists that will one session work for this client and the other session work for their competitors.
So I'd like to reiterate what a wise person texted me one day about the postponing of the hemp ban, but maybe it's time the hemp industry just grease some politicians' pockets while we're in this. Like, you think big alcohol is going to spend some more money on it?
Yeah, like that's really what it's going to take. That's why chambers of commerce exist.
What the fuck is going on?
People are like, what's a chamber of commerce do? The chamber of commerce is a whole bunch of business owners who get together, pool resources, and basically influence political, policy. And the same applies to, the big, you got the Cannabis Industry Association, right? What's that? The NCIA.
And okay, yeah.
And then hemp has their own, at a national level,
healthy hemp alternatives.
And then
there's another one that's like made up of like big drinking companies, big hemp beverage companies.
Yeah, some operate the federal level, some operate the state level, some operate at both.
Yeah.
And so if you are one of those, 9,000, 10,000 hemp owners, you have a shop, you should be a part of your industry association. I mean, it's interesting that, and sad at the same time, like, hey, you're going to have to spend resources on public policy to stay afloat. That's just the nature of business in America. It's a cost of doing business. Sad part is you can't write off campaign donations on your taxes. So, and that's why money in politics sucks.
Both of those suck on their own.
Taxes suck on their own. Politics suck on their own.
Put them together, and it's just bad.
Yeah. I know, which is depressing. There's so much news out there that I wish could be upbeat. So why don't we start with an upbeat news story? Let's do the news. So at the top of the news, medical cannabis access is associated with improved mental health among adults, according to data published in the journal Economic Letters and recently provided by PubMed Central. If you've never been to pubmed.gov, check it out. Is tons of health studies that are published each and every day across the country on a variety of subjects. But this one in particular was an analysis done by researchers affiliated with the University of Pittsburgh School of Public Health and Johns Hopkins University, which reviewed the relationship between state-authorized medical cannabis access and self-reported mental health status in a cohort of New Yorkers. 1/3 of the sample was age 65 or older. And investigators determined that local access to medical cannabis reduced the number of past month poor mental health days by nearly 15% among older adults. Now, when you think about where we're at in this country, and we got, half of the country has access to medical cannabis, that's still half that doesn't. And I mean, that's sad for folks, out there in states like Idaho or Kansas. There's some really depressing states out there where it's nothing for miles, no good views, just plains, or even some really rugged states, like Wyoming and it can be depressing. I've driven through Appalachia. West Virginia can be depressing as fuck when you drive through it. When you see the amount of poverty that people live in, and you see that, I'm like, wait, people actually live in that structure? That doesn't seem safe. And so, just having access to medical cannabis helps with depression. It helps with adults, especially who are aging. Senior citizens are the fastest growing group for medical cannabis use because your body doesn't feel the way it used to feel anymore. You got a lot more pain. You got anxiety. You got loneliness. When you get to an age where you start to lose friends, family, loved ones, it's definitely something that helps you get through those times. And so, another interesting, meaningful research study that is important for folks is looking at data that has been published in the Journal of Cannabis Research that has to do with women experiencing fibromyalgia having meaningful reductions in localized pain after using a topical administration of CBD. That's right. Spanish investigators assessed the efficacy of commercially available topical CBD CBD products in treating fibromyalgia related localized pain in a cohort of 30 female patients. And the study participants applied the topical agent to the same area every 8 hours for 12 weeks. This sustained self application of CBD was associated with significant reductions in patients' localized pain at 4 weeks, and these reductions were maintained throughout the study. And the CBD application was also associated with improvements in patients' functional capacity and decreases in their overall symptom severity scores, with no adverse events or side effects reported. Carlos, you got topical CBDs products here at Chillum, right?
Well, yes, I do.
Okay, awesome. Like, what do you got? You got oils, creams, like what is it?
We have some cooling roll-ons and like relief sticks and topical bombs and full spectrum this and isolate that. We got it all.
Awesome. Awesome.
Every type of topical. It's crazy how much topicals we have, actually.
You also have some drinks too. These seltzers that you got are pretty.
You like it?
Pretty. Yeah, I do. You gave me one of these seltzers that has both. What's this? Lion's mane and THC in it.
Yeah, 50 milligrams of THC and some lion's mane. And the lion's mane helps you focus while you're stoned. It's really good for being high while you're on the show.
It only has 20 calories and only 5 grams of sugar. So like
only the best ingredients.
That is pretty nice. Yeah, I like that. It's a tasty beverage.
Yeah.
Well, look, going back to the news, because Carlos has some great products here at Chillum that folks can stop in and get. And I think that reading the news here, this is research coming out here of Florida. And it is people with inflammatory bowel disease report improved quality of life and fewer opioids following their cannabis use. And this data was published in the journal Medical Cannabis and Cannabinoids, with researchers affiliated with the University of Florida in Gainesville surveying 108 inflammatory bowel disease patients. The study participants had a history of cannabis use that were diagnosed with either Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Those are those diseases that we keep seeing those those commercials when you watch the TV, you're streaming, and they're like, oh, you have Crohn's disease, you should take, Sosaya, and and then you listen to real fast, they read through the side effects. It may cause anal leakage, and you have an itchy butt and the squirts. And I'm just like, what? Why would you ask and then they say, ask your doctor for this. No, I'm not asking my doctor for that. And now you're telling me that the University of Florida is saying that, oh my God, you don't have to take that or ask your doctor for that because weed.
Like side effects might include killing you.
Yeah, and then or you can try weed. In which case, 88% of respondents reported improvement in their quality of life with marijuana use. 61% of those surveys said that cannabis improved their ability to live independently. 59% of respondents said that marijuana had reduced their opioid consumption. And this is a finding consistent with other numerous studies. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, or you can take that pill that they want you to ask your doctor for so they can bill your insurance. And, you might lose your guts while you're driving your car down 275.
All of your organs might leak out of your digestive system.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, cannabis is actually a healthier alternative to what most things.
Or you could just smoke weed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's the thing too, though, is that smoking weed is dangerous because, the most dangerous thing about smoking weed is getting caught with it.
Yeah.
And people say, well, oh, well, what about the children? And that has always been one of the biggest things we hit when we go up to Tallahassee around cannabis policy.
What about the kids?
Well, let's talk about the kids, because according to scientific data published in the Journal of Cannabis, prenatal cannabis exposure is not independently associated with elevated risk of child depressive disorders or anxiety, meaning that children exposed to cannabis in utero while their mom is pregnant with them are no more likely than non-exposed children to be self-diagnosed with either anxiety or depression by age of 13. And this is researchers affiliated with Kaiser Permanente of Northern California and the University of California at San Francisco, assessing the relationship between prenatal cannabis exposure and diagnosis of childhood depression and anxiety in a cohort of more than 100,000 children. Mothers of the study's participants were universally screened for prenatal cannabis use, and the study's participants were assessed for depression and anxiety from ages 6 to 13. After adjusting for covariance, and prenatal cannabis exposure was associated with a lower risk of anxiety and no increased risk of depression.
Hmm.
Wow. So I just want to try to unpack this science here. So moms who stress less while they're pregnant because they utilize cannabis actually produce babies that have lower risk of having anxiety. It's almost like anxiety can be passed on to the kid in utero, and so stress is a major factor in prenatal health. I mean, we're seeing what rising rates of autism
Well,
across the country, across the and it's you start to look at how stressful society's become.
when so if the listeners aren't aware, Kano here actually just recently had a baby. So I'm actually wondering, was your wife prescribed any medication while she was pregnant?
There was they were giving her a nausea medicine. Its common name is like Finnegan, and it actually has been known, if you take it in certain high doses, especially if you have severe nausea, can cause like cleft lip syndrome in kids and whatnot as a side
What?
effect. Yeah, like the nausea medicine that some women give during pregnancy, one of the side effects can be cleft lipped in the kids.
I had a friend from graduate school call me up one day. She was like, "Oh, I heard you became this cannabis activist guy, and I have these questions for you." We just she had just had a baby, and she was the pain from breastfeeding.
Yeah.
She was asking me if she could use cannabis for that pain, and she was like worried that she would cause any issues, and I didn't know anything about anandamide being in breast milk and how close actually consuming breast milk is to smoking weed. It's actually the bioequivalent of smoking a joint.
Yeah.
But I didn't do any research. I just basically asked her. I was like, "Hey, so did the doctor prescribe you anything for the pain?" She was like, "Yeah, he prescribed me Vicodin." And I was like, "All right, I could tell you right now, stop taking that, start smoking weed, and we'll get we'll get this figured out. Your baby's okay."
I think that's wild to think that, hey, take this opiate. This is addictive for the pain you got from breastfeeding the kid who's obviously biting and pulling, and it's called, like, yes, I hear my wife. I was up early this morning, and she was with the baby crying because he wasn't feeling well. Literally, like, that when the kid isn't feeling good, that's where they go. They go into the boobs if they're a breastfed baby. It's literally happy juice. It helps with anxiety. It helps with whatever issues or and emotions they need to regulate.
Well, when I did research later, I found out that there was a lot of anandamide in breast milk.
Mhm.
And anandamide, if you're not familiar, it's an endocannabinoid. It's the same thing basically as THC.
So the body naturally produces something similar to THC.
Yeah, well, you see, it kind of makes sense if you know anything about the endocannabinoid system, Mr. Christopher Kano here. The CB1 receptors are throughout the brain and the brainstem, and that's quite a bit of development when there's a child.
Mm.
So, actually, anandamide from breast milk actually helps in brain development.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that would explain a lot as to why you see patients with brain damages and issues of like dementia, and you see brain activity in parts of the brain, getting reignited and whatnot.
Right.
So I, in other words, THC is almost like mother's milk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the exact same thing.
So cannabis is not a poison, as prohibitionists have led us to believe for the last 100+ years.
It's nurturing.
Nurturing.
Yeah.
It's a vitamin.
Yeah.
Cannabis is a vitamin, because that's what we do, right? We ingest in our diet these vitamins that help us operate, and then when we don't get them in certain quantities, we got to go like eat an orange if you need vitamin C, or you eat bananas, you need potassium and whatnot, and other vitamins. And we stop breastfeeding after what? Most kids at 1, 2.
I was 15 years old.
You were 50.
That's why I'm so smart. It's true.
I was a formula baby. I was, the matter of fact, I was like the prototype generation.
I don't know how you became smart.
I
You're obviously a very intelligent person.
I
I don't know how you read the news like that. It's crazy to see you read the news like that.
What do you mean?
Because you don't have like any notes. You just like put the story in front of you and you're just like read it like you're Tom Brokaw or some shit.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't feel as smart as I should be, and that's the thing
It's
that.
very smart to me.
No, that's the thing though. What if I wasn't a formula baby? What if I did get the breast milk?
Okay, so try to use the Suncoast Normal one to read a story.
Okay, cool. All right. So look, yeah, we do have some local news. I think that's going to be important for folks to hear. This is a big one, especially for those of you who are still employed and you're a weed smoker. A Hillsborough County firefighter and paramedics' years-long legal battle over off-duty medical marijuana use may be headed to the Florida Supreme Court. The outcome can affect patients, public employees, and workplace drug policies throughout the state. His name is Angelo Giambroni, and he was placed on unpaid administrative leave after a random drug test returned positive for marijuana in 2019. He held a valid Florida medical marijuana card and said he used cannabis outside of work to address post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and sleep problems. Look, those are all issues that we've read on the news today and in previous shows that it obviously addresses. There was no allegations that he consumed any marijuana at work, possessed it on county property, or even reported for duty while he was high or impaired. And the drug screening was random. So rather than actually being prompted by an accident or saying he's got poor performance or even being suspicious that he's high, it's just like, hey, it's your turn to piss in the cup today. I mean, and that's wild. And I think that's central to the distinction of this case and to the legal arguments. A trial court initially had ruled in his favor, but the Florida Second District Court of Appeal has reversed that decision as of July 29th of this year. Mike Minardi, who is our chief general counsel for NORML Florida, is actually his attorney in all of this, and now that he's planning to ask for. Minardi has been a key figure in helping us out with Florida NORML and in our NORML chapters across the state. He's been out there defending veterans
and to regulate Florida campaigns and did all of that.
Yeah, and
oh shit, was that on me the whole time you were on?
It's okay. Look, we actually got more viewers when it was on you. Just hearing my sultry voice and seeing your beautiful face, and that's how.
Okay, well, I mean, everybody heard that at least. I swear to you, like the way you do the news, they need to know. All right, if you were sitting here with a newspaper, it would be the same thing. It would be the same fucking thing. He's just reading news. He's not even there's none of it scripted. You even add a little bit of flavor in there.
Yeah, you gotta put
throw a little bit of personal. You know, I don't think Minardi is in that story.
You stay classy out there, San Diego. Gotta put a little spit on it.
That's cool.
Look, I think the final news story, and I think this is important for everyone to hear. Florida medical marijuana sales hit $198.2 million in the month of July.
I know it's only for the corporate oligarchs, but that's a testament to how many patients are finding relief here in Florida. So that's a good thing. So
I mean,
we celebrate that.
That is $18.5 million higher than the previous record, which was set in April of this year, which was nearly 37.8 million above June, above the month before sales. And through the first 7 months of 2027, Floridians with medical marijuana cards have reached approximately $1.19 billion in sales.
Damn.
Billion-dollar industry.
Just in Florida, with the limited amount of access that we have, because you got to spend a couple $100 on a doctor's recommendation. Right.
If you're looking for a doctor's recommendation, you can go to our homepage. We actually have a link there you can click if you need more information. We also have weekly webinars available to our members for free. All that information is right on our homepage. Just scroll down, check out, and click and make your appointment and attend the webinar so you can learn more about how medical cannabis can help you in whatever that you're going through in your personal life. Now, if you want a complete sales breakdown of what it means, Carlos, you actually have an article on Chillam's website, so folks can check out Chillam's website with the full breakdown of where we're at with Florida's hemp industry and the medical marijuana sales, and understanding that our laws have not caught up. We have millions of people accessing medical cannabis and still can get fired from their jobs.
Yeah,
we need worker protections at the state level.
Mhm.
These elections are important. The whole point of the show today was to showcase, a representative who's running to be our senator, and to make sure that we know that public policy wise, hey, we need worker protections, and we need to know that you're going to vote for it, and advocate for it. The time is now. People are losing their jobs now. Just heard it on the news today. People are losing their kids now.
Yeah.
This shit needs to get done, and it's time to get out and vote. The last day to vote is election day, August 18th. If you're a registered voter in Florida, it is time for you to get out there and do it. I don't give a shit what party you're a part of. I want you to get out there and vote. And if you need to know who to vote for, you can feel free to reach out to us. We educate our members. We try to showcase past episodes on the show. Go back and watch the rotation on YouTube.
One thing that I found, National Normal actually has a pretty comprehensive guide of politicians that are in office.
Yeah.
And, they've given them a rating on how marijuana friendly they are.
It's called Smoke the Vote, as a matter of fact.
Smoke the Vote.
Yeah, so check out normal.org. You can learn more. You can also go to normal.org and see some of these same news articles that Carlos is just raving about, that the way I read them. So. And of course, follow us social media. There's always some great news headlines and infographics that you can share. And if you want to get involved, you can actually go to Normal, and we have alerts where you can click them, and it will send a generated email letter to your United States Senator, to your member of Congress, even to the President of the United States, Governor of Florida, around these various issues. We got one that we send in our email blast regularly. Tell Trump to legalize it, and this world that we're in right now is weird, because medical marijuana from one of the 41 licensed states is a Schedule III drug now. But adult use cannabis is a Schedule I drug.
Yeah, it's hard to understand how that works. And the shit that is sold on the legacy market is still Schedule I.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
But okay, so what about the shit that's legalized in Colorado?
So
Schedule III?
If it's medical, it's Schedule III.
But what about the legal shit?
It's Schedule I. And then if something doesn't happen by December with hemp, these will all go back to being Schedule I.
I go to Las Vegas, right? I fly into Las Vegas. I go to Planet 13, biggest cannabis dispensary in the United States, right? They've got fucking food courts and shit in there, right? Everybody that goes there fucking goes to Planet 13, right? Or Reef, if you're, is right next to it as well. That's another good one. But, Planet 13 is a bit of a spectacle, right? They're selling a Schedule I substance.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
almost like nothing's happened.
Yeah. It is it's scary to say the least.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is all going to shake out. Like you said earlier, it's just going to be a matter of who's going to get with their checks, because it seems like politicians will come up with an answer. And the quicker that answer comes is the quicker those checks get written. And that's just sad we're at, which is why we need to get out there and vote. You need to be voting for people who aren't taking the checks from the wrong people.
Yeah, I wish I had money to write one of these checks, man. I would do it if I had it, but I'm broke.
Well, Florida is an interesting state because corporations can write checks in the state of Florida. Businesses can make campaign donations. At the federal level, no, you can donate to like a C4, like a Chamber of Commerce. They might donate to a PAC. But as a business, you can actually write checks to the state, to state representatives and state senators. That's kind of
if I'd like to say something to Wilton Simpson right now, if you stop fucking with my business, I'll start writing you checks, man. I'd rather do that than the stress of all these fucking inspections.
That sounds like a mafia shakedown almost, right?
Hey,
but
I'm down with the story. You know what? I would appreciate a mafia shakedown a little bit more than the Department of Agriculture, because
you'd be
at least I could go and I can kiss the ring and I could be like, hey, this guy and these kids, they keep on messing with my store. It's like,
you had some kids messing with your store out there in St. Pete, man.
Wouldn't that be cool if Wilton Simpson sent some like inspectors to shake him down? That would be cool.
Just have like a Department of Ag cop
Yeah.
just sit outside the shop for you. You know, just
They're,
park a truck
they're
there.
like chillum dispensaries under the protection of the Department of Agriculture.
These are good people.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Forget about it. Oh man, look, it's election time, so get out there and vote if you haven't. We're gonna have one more show before the final election day on Tuesday the 18th, and of course, I can't tell you to be motivated, right? You got to find your own motivation in life of where you want to go, what politics excites you, and what's important. If cannabis policy is it, you can turn to us. We try to showcase on the show here, who seems to have their head together. Just coming on the show is brave. I haven't really seen any prohibitionists come on the
No.
show. Mostly folks that just want more information, or they're just not educated about it. Some are champions, which is great.
The closest we've gotten, I think, is that Gruters guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Senator Gruters
wanted to regulate where you could smoke weed.
I mean, he wanted to ban smoking altogether, right?
Like
All public smoking.
Yeah, all in public. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
not for me.
not for me either.
I want to smoke outside.
New York is pretty wild. You can just smoke anywhere. You're just allowed to light up a cigarette. So like you can just stand on the sidewalk in New York and smoke.
But then that's one thing you hear prohibitionists say, that it's like, it may be controversial to say this, but I'm gonna fucking say it. I remember back when it wasn't like homosexuality wasn't very much accepted, and it was you had some people going around in a bigoted way saying that they're cool with gay people, but they don't want to see it out in public.
You still see that today. People still,
yeah. Well, I mean, I
now it's like I don't want to see it around my kids.
I see it less and less, but
But
honestly, there's a little bit more nowadays. But
it's always what about the kids?
It's reminiscent to me I don't want to see that out in public. I don't want to see people smoking.
Yeah.
And one thing that's always pissed me off too is that you see alcohol advertisements fucking everywhere. Everywhere, product placements and shit.
Yeah.
I want to see people smoking joints in movies. I want to see more of it. I want to smell more of it. If you think marijuana smells bad, then you have hate in your heart. Yeah. What do you think about that, Kano?
Legalize marinara.
Legalize marinara. I love it. I wish I was wearing the shirt.
It's all good, man. Look, you're right. I thought the other day, like, wouldn't it be cool if you had a movie theater that you just had like big couches and they brought you food and you could smoke a blunt?
Man, that'd be great.
And you just fire up.
I want that.
And then even like just far enough away, if you wanted to, you could pass it to the guy next to you.
Oh, that's actually kind of cute. Like, that's sweet. The camaraderie.
So I just hey, we live in a society where it feels like they want us locked in the house. They want less socialization, right? You said it. They're like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, they want to keep us hidden.
I mean,
and we're making progress, though. We're making progress. The fact that less people drink, that hurts them quite a bit. They're not making as much money as they once did.
That's why they're mad about this hemp industry. I mean, you could go into like Fresh Market and Whole Foods or here in Chillum, and they have there are seltzers that are non-alcoholic.
Yeah,
and makes you feel good.
Yeah, I'm cool with it
without the hangover, without having to drink 4 and 5. I think I'm halfway through this one. With what's this, lion's mane?
I've down 2 of those today.
You down 2 of these?
Yeah,
2.
Yeah, I had one before you came over.
Oh man. So this is 50 milligrams. 50 milligrams.
But it has lion's mane.
Yeah, no. I just want to understand,
so you can focus still.
So the equivalent though, like, isn't like a J about 10 milligrams, a blunt probably about 20.
I don't know, dude.
Depends how good
Depends how good it is, how fat it is.
How fat it is. So drinking a whole one of these be the equivalent of smoking like 2 blunts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, just trying to understand, because it says on here on the label, mega potency.
So you're saying that I've smoked 4 blunts today, plus whatever many dabs.
4 plus lion's mane. Which, explain to us a little bit about my lion's mane as a mushroom.
It's a mushroom. First off, it's delicious. A lot of people use it as like a vegan replacement for like steak and chicken, and it's delicious. You grill it up. Anyways, it helps you focus. People call it nature's Adderall.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So this is
so you've
THC for pain.
You've never had lion's mane before. Are you
No.
finding it better to focus now?
I mean, we're going to wrap up the show here in a few seconds, but I just wanted to understand, like THC and lion's mane. So you're saying, THC, which obviously calms and helps with anxiety and pain, and then lion's mane, which helps you focus.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see how that works out. This is going to be a fun day today. So I do got a lot of stuff to do though. Before I head out, I'm helping my mom pack up her home and everything. It's just my childhood home. Letting it go has been an emotional process.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't understand when you live in the same house your whole life, you have an attachment to a place. You have a lot of memories. A lot of birthdays. It's been a lot to just go through all that, and also to know that my mom has kept all of that too.
Yeah.
Going back to you seeing your baby memories and little, like, oh wow, and I'm like, this is dusty, so dusty, 40 plus years of dust.
My parents recently moved out. I mean, it wasn't like I moved in there when I was 8, and then I moved out when I was 22. And I'm fucking, they sold it off when I was 40. So I mean, I wasn't too attached to it anymore.
Yeah.
But there's some attachment there. But when they recently sold it and got a condo on the beach here, and when they did that, they were getting rid of a lot of stuff, and it was the weirdest thing. My mom handed me an envelope with all of my baby teeth. I threw it in the garbage. Right away. I threw it all away.
She kept your baby teeth.
She kept it, and she was like, I don't want this anymore. Take it.
And you were like,
I was like,
I gave up on those teeth a long time ago, Mom.
I don't want this. Like, people are gonna think I'm crazy if they find this. Like, I need this.
Oh my gosh, just riding around with an envelope full of human teeth. Yes. Imagine, because you know how cops are. I smell weed. Get out the car, and then now they find an envelope of human teeth.
Yeah,
this is not gonna.
I swear to you, officer, that's my baby teeth.
Oh my God, it's horrible. It's like you have to be exonerated with a DNA test. No, it's really me. It's really me. Those are my teeth.
No. She didn't do it like at my house too. Like we had just like eaten dinner.
Oh man,
we were in the parking lot, and she's like, "Here," like,
Oh man, look, if you enjoy listening to hearing us talk shit for the past decade, we truly do appreciate all of y'all, all the fans of the show who have been with us through thick and thin. We're going to keep trying to bring you great content each and every week, bringing you the news, telling you about great things that are going on with what you all are doing in this movement. And we have so many great members out there. I just want to give a shout out to those dues paying members who come to our events, who participate. We had the best blunt in the Bay, which was like a great way to send off Chillum St. Pete as a big final blasting event. It was a lot. We actually have some video from that, Carlos. I think folks should see like what great events that we do here at Suncoast Normal and
why not?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, the torch is hot. 4, 5, 6, and the turf sauce drops. 7, 8, 9 in the crowd. Our Glocks at the best blunt dabathon around the clock. We're gonna dab around the clock tonight. Gonna dab, dab, dab till broad daylight. If the label says hemp, then the vibes are right. We're gonna dab around the clock tonight. Down in the Bay where the judges grin. Everybody talks like they're bound to win. One boy coughed and he spun half round, then bowed to a folding chair like it wore a crown. We're gonna dab around the clock tonight. Clouds so thick you can dim the light. If it's farm bill blessed and we sleep just right. We're gonna dab around the clock tonight. Susie brought a rig with the glitter top. Said this one's legal, baby, watch me mop. She took one.
The 45-minute dab competition. Carlos is still jamming to the music. Yeah. So look, being a Suncoast Normal member, you get free admission to our events. Obviously, the best blunt debate rolling competition, which what are we at? 5 years now. We've been doing that.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know, and you have the opportunity to take home the belt. This year we had our first ever dabathon, which was awesome. And seeing a Big Daddy Dix take home the belt this year, 45 minutes, like the Iron Lung. And he, like, I want people to understand this. Carlos, this man was a judge.
The judge
at the competition.
He smoked a lot of joints before he dabbed for 45 minutes.
We had 3 competitive rounds before the finals,
and that's the thing too, is that he did it with no problem. It wasn't like he was the other guy was sweating. Like most people wanted me. It was my job to call the competition.
You were the ref. Yeah,
I was the ref.
It was your house.
So, and I'll be honest with you, I gave the other guy a lot of breaks. He was falling over a lot and leaning over, and I kind of felt bad because Big Daddy Dix was right next to him, fucking dancing while dabbing. Not a problem. Not a problem. I mean, I just you saw from the video. I mean, they were just hitting the rigs and taking dabs, going head to head. Yeah.
We started out the competition. There were 4 people who had the bravery to enter in to the dabathon.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Vinny. Vinny tried.
Vinny came in third. And then Pink Katrina, she did.
Katrina too.
Yeah, she was the first one out. She was out after about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Vinny lasted.
She was like, screw this. This is uncomfortable.
Vinny lasted around 20 minutes, which is respectable. 20 minutes of dabbing.
Very respectable.
I want people to understand 20 minutes of dabbing with Carlos.
45 minutes is insane. Insane.
That's Omega mutant levels of lung capacity.
I can't do that. I dab all the time. And we were just putting more and more dabs into the fucking banger and heating it with the blowtorch, just nonstop. We were doing that for 45 minutes nonstop, continuously cooking, just dab after dab.
Oh my gosh.
And they continued. And you can see him in the video. It's they were there standing together in the end, but Big Daddy Dix, no problem.
No problem.
The other guy, I was
leaning on.
I was scared that he was going to get hurt.
But that's the point.
What is the deal with this fucking camera?
Nobody got hurt, right? That was the point. That was the point of the dabathon. Nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt.
Everybody went home.
I was
feeling great.
I was nervous because of all that controversy beforehand. If somebody actually did get hurt, we would have had 3 or 4 different organizations
on our ass.
Some of which were closer to our organization than we might not even want to admit. But they would all be after us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted the dabathon to occur.
Yeah.
The government, the nonprofit sector, the advocacy sector, nobody wanted this event to happen.
I have my theories. I don't know exactly what happened, but I would say that the Anti-Drug Alliance, because they sneak into our email list every now and then. Every now and then I see a Snelling in our email list. And I erase it. So I think the Anti-Drug Alliance probably complained to the Department of Agriculture and had them inspect us.
And everything was above board.
Yeah, I mean, the competition still happened.
Yeah, the show went on, and
it's a perfectly legal and safe competition.
Yes, and everybody had a good time. And I remember some of the advocates I talked to were like, "Oh, well, what are you going to do when CNN calls? And how are you going to defend it?" And I was like, "If CNN wants to talk about the best blunt debate dabathon, I will gladly go on and talk about
people who claim that they're I'll say it like this. People who claim that their mission is to normalize this plant did not find that competition very normal.
Hey, you know, we are no strangers to controversy. We had our float from the Temple Terrace 4th of July parade
That was fun.
move city policy,
Yeah.
like to ban how they do their parades and floats. It used to be you paid $50 and you just showed up with a float,
Show up with the float.
and that was it.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom
America.
of speech on the 4th of July. And our 4th of July float was a giant blunt,
Giant blunt.
and it smoked.
Smoked.
And we were passing out pamphlets on how to talk to your kids about medical marijuana.
Yeah.
And it is one of the better selling, you know, self-published books on Amazon, if I might not say myself.
I mean, not really, but
But
whatever.
it was written by Carlos Hermida.
It was written by me.
So you know, go out and check it out. Go on Amazon and check it out.
I'm, you know what? I'm going to post that thing to our website.
Yeah. No, I think you took the time to write a great book about how to talk to your kids about this important, you know, topic. And, you know, the fact that as a parent, you may utilize medical marijuana. You're getting older. Maybe Grammy utilized it. You need to talk to your kids about, hey, don't eat Grammy's cookies.
As the author of that book, I don't want to, you know, badmouth the book at all, but it's common fucking sense, people. Be honest with your fucking kids. It's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, I mean, the book is a little bit longer than that, but boils down to that.
It's kind of like it's kind of like if you read the Bible, right? And you read it cover to cover, and in the end, it's like, hey, just don't be a dick in life. It's so simple. It's a simple rule. Don't be a dick in life. Just don't.
Yeah, it's just don't hurt anybody, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You know,
especially yourself.
Be honest with them
and be honest with
handle
yourself. Yeah.
It's not some crazy. It's a plant. It's not some crazy thing.
No, it's not. Well, you know, hey, we could definitely use the support. So you can visit suncoastnormal.org, become a member. If you know, if your time, your treasure, your talent aren't things that you can give at this time, you could definitely hit that like and subscribe button for us. Check out our past episodes on YouTube. You can follow us on Kick now. If you're on kick.com, we're also broadcasting the show there, as well as we broadcast on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook,
everywhere that you can. I don't think there's a social media platform.
Yeah, we're on Instagram right now.
Podcast platform. We're on SoundCloud. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. We're on Pandora. We're on Apple. On iTunes. We're on everywhere.
Spotify.
Did I not say Spotify? We're on Spotify.
Yeah. So, and of course, you can go to suncoastnormal.org and hit that like and subscribe button wherever you're at on social media, so we can keep bringing you amazing news each and every week. And shout out to all the great folks across the country who are running their own normal chapters and doing big things. And if you're an attorney and you're interested in being involved in this movement, we have our annual normal Key West legal seminar coming up right here in Florida in November. You can get continuing legal education credits for it. It is certified, and have a great time with this historic event that's been going on for, you know, several decades. I mean, 40 plus years. And I think it's just great to see Keith Strop, even in his 80s, still leading this organization and you know, maintaining the networks across the country. Normal is an interesting organization because our mission is to legalize it. As we have done that, support from all around the country kind of has dried up a bit, because it's like, well, you know, the 25 legal states. And even
I share the crap out of this podcast every Sunday, and I've gotten some responses saying that, you know, who cares? It's been legalized.
Yeah.
I've had some responses of people that were like, who cares if people are in jail for smoking weed? They were doing something wrong. Well, it was illegal, so they should remain in jail. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, can we have a little bit of compassion here? Read the Bible. Don't be a dick.
And if you don't want to read the Bible, you can read Carlos's book on how to talk to your kids about medical marijuana.
Yeah, don't treat it like a Bible, though.
It's not a tell-all guide. There's more to know. And if you want to know more about why Normal is important as an organization, check out my latest op-ed in High Times and why Normal still matters in 2026. I think it's important as we head into these elections that we're showcasing the right leaders that are going to take policy forward. Despite the fact we have legalization, it isn't real freedom.
Yeah,
that's why we still exist, because you can still go to jail for utilizing cannabis the wrong way, for possessing it the wrong way. You can still have major consequences in your life, like losing your job or losing your kids. And none of those things make any sense to us. And that's why this organization continues to exist. And that's why we continue to ask for your support so we can get this over the finish line, elect the right people in the office, get the laws changed, and go about our lives. I had plenty of other plans to do other things in life than do this on Sundays, man, and run a chapter with you and go to city council meetings and county commission meetings and go to the Tallahassee every year. And now I'm up in DC going to events in DC.
Takes a lot out of somebody to go to Tallahassee. I'll tell you that.
Man.
Just that Capitol building, just getting there, walking from the parking lot. Oh.
If you can find parking.
You can find parking.
If you're lucky enough to find a parking spot. So yeah, it's
you have to climb that hill from the parking lot to the Capitol building.
Yeah.
And they make it impossible to get there.
And then if you when you go up to the tower, you like 20 some floors.
And these fucking politicians, they park in a parking garage directly underneath.
Yes.
Make everybody walk to the Capitol.
Yes.
Dicks.
I remember when I was an intern, I had to go tell a representative, I was like, hey man, you left your car door open in the parking garage downstairs.
And I bet you nothing happens. Best security in
nothing,
the world.
Nothing.
FDLE officers watching that car door.
Yeah. He left his car door wide open in the parking lot. I was like, wow. So, oh man. Well, look, next week, big show. We got State Representative Angie Nixon, who's running for United States Senate. I'm pretty excited to have her in the rotation. And of course, tune in each and every Sunday, 11 a.m. We're going to have some great guests coming up in the next few months. And if you know anyone, tell them to get in touch with us. Visit suncoastnormal.org and learn more. And Carlos, as always, you got the final word of the day.
Smoke weed every day.
Oh, roll that.
No, and stream.